a long scar on the left flank, a dull, persistent ache whenever the weather turns. These are the consequences of selling a kidney to make a living for people in several villages across Nepal, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. Despite warnings, the kidney trade continues daily. It is a place where extreme poverty has eroded people to the point that they are forced to sell a part of their own bodies to survive. The One Kidney Village, a tragic name given to communities in Nepal, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh where the illegal organ trade has taken deep root. Their stories expose a cruel reality of the modern world, where the desperation of the poor becomes a supply for the medical needs of the rich, creating a transnational business built on pain and deceit. Based on recent reports and analysis from numerous reputable sources, the profit from the black market kidney trade is an extremely lucrative transnational criminal enterprise with alarming figures. According to a report by Global Financial Integrity, GFI, cited by many organizations including the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, the global illegal organ trade, in which kidneys are the majority, is estimated to generate enormous profits from $840 million to $1.7 billion annually. This market is believed to account for 5 to 10% of all organ transplants performed worldwide. In today's program, join me as we decode the root cause of the kidney trade. Is the story woven by kidney traffickers that a kidney can grow back actually true? Stay tuned and watch the following video to understand more about this dark side of our modern world. The big picture of the One Kidney Villages. Each village I will tell you about has its own story, but they all share a common tragedy. First, let's go to Hoxhe village, Nepal, where people believe kidneys will grow back. Hoxhe village in Nepal has long been nicknamed the Kidney Bank of South Asia. Traffickers have operated here for decades, spreading the cruel and absurd lie that a human kidney will automatically regrow after being removed. They exploit the ignorance and superstition of the people, turning them into easy victims. There are even cases where people were tricked into going to India for medical treatment only to have their kidneys stolen without their knowledge. Next is Senshaiba Bazar, a village near the city of Herat, known as Afghanistan's One Kidney Village, due to the large number of residents who have sold one of their kidneys to get by. The sale of kidneys has become so openly prevalent it is alarming, especially after the national economy collapse. People are no longer deceived by myths. Instead, they face a stark reality: sell a kidney or starve to death. The trade is conducted openly and is seen as a final option to pay off debts and feed their families in a devastated nation. For additional context, Afghanistan has faced numerous pressing issues since the Taliban came to power. The country's already fragile economy has fallen into even greater difficulty. Many families struggle to find their next meal. According to statistics, since the Taliban took over Afghanistan, more than 24 million people, equivalent to 59% of the population, are facing the risk of starvation, and 500,000 people have lost their jobs. In Baiguni, Bangladesh, and India, a business of cross-border fraud, Baiguni village in the Kalai Upasila of Bangladesh is called the One Kidney Village, with a shocking statistic from the British medical journal BMJ. 1 in every 35 adults in the region has sold a kidney. Brokers turn the desperation of the Bangladeshi people into a business opportunity. They arrange everything from medical visas to forged documents to bring the sellers to India. There, they circumvent Indian law, which only permits organ donation between close relatives, by creating an entirely new identity for the seller, falsifying papers to prove they are related to the recipient, as in the case of Mr. Safiruddin, a Bangladeshi man who sold his kidney without ever knowing who received it. The story of desperation. The motive behind each painful decision to sell a kidney is always the same: extreme poverty. In Nepal, it is the aspiration for a roof over their heads, a small plot of land to call their own. In Afghanistan, it is immediate survival, to pay off debts and to keep their children from starving. In Bangladesh, as in Safiruddin's story, it is the faint hope for a better life, a house for his 3 children. I didn't want to sell it, but I had no better choice. I had to do it for my children. Now I regret it so much because I can't do normal work anymore. In fact, I'm in so much pain, I can't even lift heavy things, shared Noruddin, a 32-year-old father in Shenshaba Bazar, Afghanistan. I sold my kidney for about $2,900 and had to do it because my husband was unemployed and my family was in debt. My children were wandering the streets begging. If I didn't sell my kidney, I would have to sell one of my children, a woman named Aziza shared sorrowfully. Desperation is so powerful that it overcomes all initial skepticism and fear. The brokers don't sell the kidney, they sell the promise of an escape, a chance at a new life, even if it is just an illusion. Deception, ignorance, and legal loopholes. The people in these villages are victims of their circumstances as well as victims of sophisticated criminal networks. Primitive deception. In Nepal, lies "the kidney will grow back" reveal the level of manipulation based on a lack of knowledge. Among the victims of these devious organ traffickers is a mother of 4 named Geetha. This 37-year-old woman was led by her own sister-in-law to India to sell her kidney for just $2,000. Geetha shared, "For the past 10 years, people have come here to persuade us to sell our kidneys, but I always said no." However, as her children grew older, Geetha longed for a sturdy house and a piece of land for livestock. So she agreed to go with her sister-in-law to sell her kidney. The surgery lasted half an hour, but Geetha had to stay in the hospital for about 3 weeks. Geetha is not the only case of selling a kidney to buy a house in Hoxhe. Not far away, her own husband had sold one of his kidneys before. Most men and women in Hoxhe sell a kidney to earn money. Organ trafficking brokers frequently wander through Hoxhe trying to persuade residents to go to hospitals in southern India to sell their kidneys. They use many tricks to lure their victims, one of which is to deceive them into believing that a kidney can grow back. Systematic fraud. The Bangladesh-India trafficking ring demonstrates a much higher level of organized crime. They don't just lie, they exploit legal loopholes, forge identity documents, lawyer certifications, and even hospital records to legitimize an illegal transplant. The entire system, from the brokers in the village to the procedures in urban hospitals, appears to be manipulated. Desperate acceptance. In Afghanistan, people may be more aware of the risks, but their options are almost non-existent. When starvation is imminent, future health risks become a distant luxury. The health consequences and lasting tragedy in the one-kidney villages. The promise of a better life quickly vanishes, leaving behind permanent consequences. First is the destruction of health. After selling a kidney, victims suffer from a dull, persistent ache. Their health deteriorates severely, leaving them unable to perform manual labor, which was often their main source of income. Mr. Safiruddin in Bangladesh had to switch to a lighter job at a cold storage facility due to constant pain and fatigue. Second is the vicious cycle of poverty. The meager amount of money received from selling a kidney is quickly depleted. In Nepal, many use it to build a house and then have no money left to live on. In Bangladesh, Safiruddin's house remains unfinished. Ultimately, not only due to the fail to escape poverty, but they sink deeper into crisis after losing their most valuable asset, their health. Third is the psychological burden. The physical pain is accompanied by regret and mental torment. They realize they have paid too high a price for a benefit that was all too brief. The black market alarm and the role of governments. The existence of one-kidney villages is an indictment of the failure of regulatory and legal systems, loopholes, and weak enforcement. In India, despite strict laws, traffickers can still forge documents and bypass authorities, indicating lax verification and oversight. In Nepal, the law prohibits organ trafficking, but the government is powerless to stop the criminal networks. Legal vacuum. In Afghanistan, the Taliban government's failure to ban the practice has created an environment where organ sales occur almost openly, without any control. The need for a dual solution. The criminal crackdown is only part of the solution. As long as extreme poverty exists, there will be people willing to sell a part of their bodies. Therefore, any sustainable solution must include economic development programs, job creation, poverty alleviation, and public education in the most vulnerable communities. In conclusion, the stories from Nepal, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh are not isolated tragedies. They are symptoms of a global disease where the value of human life is determined by the gap between rich and poor. The fight against organ trafficking will never succeed if it only targets the brokers. It must also target the very roots that have nourished human desperation. What are your thoughts on this issue? Leave your opinions in the comments below for us to discuss. For now, goodbye, and see you in the next program.